Good morning and welcome to the New England B2B Networking Radio Show. This morning I'm joined by my buddy Sheldon from Administrative Business Resources. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can send me an email to kevin@newenglandb2bnetworking.com. Good morning, Sheldon. How are you doing today, bud?
Good morning. Good, thank you. Just getting ready for more snow.
Unfortunately, so why don't we start right at the beginning? Let's talk a little bit about what your business does.
Sure. So at Administrative Business Resources, excuse me, we're an HR outsourcing company. Provide payroll services, HR services, and benefits administration for companies of all different sizes.
So what type of organizations do you work with?
So, excuse me. So basically, do a number of different things. We provide human resource services for businesses of all sizes, which means trying to keep them out of trouble. Payroll, obviously, and that's pretty self-explanatory. And then we can either help them provide benefits for them. So we work with all different size companies, a lot of small, mid-sized companies from maybe 5 to 50, 75, even maybe 100 employees where they don't have a real HR department. So we'll help them with their HR needs and then obviously can do their payroll. Nobody should be doing their own payroll, basically, because there's so many things they can make an error on, and just one little mistake could cost them between fines and penalties. So
Absolutely. Sheldon, I really see a big need for the HR services, because I come across a lot of business people who are really good at what they do, Sheldon. And then all of a sudden they have 10 employees. They have no HR policies, and but Sheldon did the same thing Kevin did, but we like Sheldon and we don't really like Kevin. So we're just going to apply the rules any we feel fit until all of a sudden they're facing a lawsuit, or, Sheldon, we never thought of having HR policies. It was a family-run business. Now all of a sudden we got other people in the company. I can yell at my brother, and swing at him or whatever, but I can't treat regular employees like that. You must come across it to that, right?
Absolutely, all the time. I mean, a handbook is so important, and basically the times have changed, and things you could do a few years ago you can't do now. And a lot of business people, number one, don't realize that they don't know the rules and regulations. I mean, I had run some seminars called What the Numbers Don't Tell You. Last year I was running these. And it was basically just kind of the importance of a handbook, the importance of policies and procedures, wage and hour. And it's kind of exactly what you said, though. They make up the policy as they go along. And one of the slides was like a pyramid. And, a pyramid has a very wide base. So you have to start building your policies and procedures based on that strong foundation. The problem is, like you just said, most businesses kind of build that upside down. They say, oh, well, this happened, so we need a policy. But, oh, that happened, we need a policy for this. And then all of a sudden it's a mishmash of things. And exactly right, if you treat one person differently than the other person, and if that person happens to be in a protected class, you're in big trouble. It's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. I've been in a situation where things have happened in the corporate world, and the employee walks in with the employee handbook and says, show me where it says I can't do that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have examples. I mean, we get examples like that all the time where people actually stole and were fired because they were stealing, and they went to collect unemployment, and they got unemployment because nobody said you can't steal, you'll be fired if you steal. I mean, some of it's common sense, but some of it is ridiculous too.
So let's talk a little bit more about why people need your services. We covered it a little bit, but let's go into a little bit more detail.
Well, sure. The very basics of just when you're hiring somebody, first of all, what you can ask them in an interview, if you even have a job application, there are questions that can and cannot be on that application. So if you happen to use an application, and if you get it at one of the chain doors, or if you get it online, chances are it's illegal in Massachusetts because it probably has questions you can't ask. And then there's a whole interview process, what you can ask and can't ask. And then once you hire them, the I-9 form is something which is now the immigration form, which is very important. And it was just changed last year. to a new version, so you have to be using a new version. There are rules when to fill it out, how to fill it out, and again, if you don't do it right, it's fines, penalties. And there's just the government needs more money, so they have more inspectors out on the street. And employees know more of their rights, so they're more savvy oftentimes. And sometimes you may do something as a business owner, as a boss, to be nice and to help that person. But in reality, and we've seen this happen, is they're actually being set up to be sued afterwards too, because they did that employee a favor, which they thought they were doing them a favor, and what ended up happening was it ended up costing them because they did something that the Department of Labor didn't agree with.
Yeah, like you said, we found that out the hard way too. You set a precedent. Well, you treated Sheldon this way when he was going through that sort of situation. So now that's the new policy of what we do and stuff. So
right.
Sometimes, like you said, the human gets in the way and you try to treat people the way they're to be treated. But if it's not in the policy, you can get yourself in a whole bunch of trouble. Now, Sheldon, is there any geographic area you work with companies? Can you work with people across the country?
Well, we do work with companies across the country, and more so on the HR, on the payroll and the HR, what we call HR information system. We have HR technology product that can streamline the payroll and the employee communications, where we can, I want to say, go paperless, which you're looking at the paper behind me where we're clearing that out, because you can go paperless with all the employee communication. That we can do anywhere in the country because it's all a web-based system. And that can be in large companies too, up to a couple thousand employees. The HR services, they're more hands-on, so we can do that in most places, but most of it that we do is in the Eastern Mass, Southern New Hampshire, through Eastern Mass to even to the Cape, to down to Rhode Island and into Southern New Hampshire, just because it's hands-on, because we actually have somebody there going through the files, helping them with the interviews, being on the premise too.
Sheldon, how do people reach out to you? How do they learn more?
So they can find us certainly at info@abrhr.com, or phone number is 508-439-4730. And the website is www.abrhr.com. And I actually want to mention one other thing, and I didn't have it in front of me to show you, but we also came up with the employer survival kit. And that's at www.employersurvivalkit.com. And what that is, it is a box that is built for 1 to 5 employees, even up to 10 employees, and it just gives them a basic groundwork. We call it kind of a compliance starter kit, because it explains how they have to set up their files, what should go into each file, and gives them an explanation of why have a handbook. And one other real important thing is the mass privacy law everybody needs to abide by. So they need to have a written information security plan. And no matter how small you are, you need to have that too. So it talks about all those things. They don't get all of that, but they get at least an understanding of it in the Employer Survival Kit.
So what's the website one more time for that, Sheldon?
That's employersurvivalkit.com.
Great. Sheldon, really appreciate you taking the time of the day to come on the show. Thanks for being my friend.
Thank you.